I'm winning every day because I found my way. Take back my life today. I'm a winning woman. I'm winning every day because I found my way. Take back my life today. It's me. I'm queen. I'm a winning woman.
Hi, welcome to Winning Knowledge.
Good evening.
Good
Afternoon.
evening. Hi, everyone out there. Welcome to Winning Knowledge. This is an interview segment that is done by the Winning Women's Guide to Gold Crushing Group organization. We're on Facebook, and we usually do these interviews to spread knowledge. Without knowledge, we don't have any power. And today we've decided to do sort of an interview that's fitting for Black History Month, but fitting for our lives any time of the year, any day of the year. We will be talking about life insurance, how we should protect our loved ones when we're not here. And, this is something that is really dear to me, especially that we know, most of you know that I've lost my mother-in-law, and, we've seen how important life insurance was. And here comes, the conversation with me and Dawn McNichols. Welcome, Dawn.
Thank you, Latoya.
Welcome
Hi,
to
everyone
Winning
who's
Knowledge.
listening.
Yeah, welcome. So how Dawn and me, how we got together was, uh, I know in the community, she's everywhere. So I know that tons of people will be like, I know that face, right? She's a major pillar in our community. She's always helping someone and always helping us to develop our crafts, whatever that we're doing. So we're so thankful for you, Dawn, first of all, for that.
Welcome.
Well, we've been having this conversation about life insurance since last year, and you were so passionate about the topic. This year, again, right before everything happened with losing my mother-in-law, we were talking about doing it during Black History Month. And the reason why is because we know that in our community, there's sort of a lack of knowledge about the importance of life insurance. And it was such a heavy passion on her heart. I was like, why don't we just have a conversation and help everyone and kind of understand why it's important to have life insurance to protect our loved ones. So, Dawn, if you want to introduce yourself, let everyone know who you are and what you do.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Dawn. On Facebook, I go by Dawn Ross, but my name is Dawn McNichols. So some people know me with either. I'm a promoter. I am an event planner. I'm also an LPN, 32 years. And I recently, like 2 years ago, start looking into doing something part-time, something that is of service that will make somebody's life different. And looking into retirement. So I wanted something that would be like worthwhile. And I went to this seminar that had a meeting on financial services, and it really perked my interest. So I've been singing and preaching for everyone who would listen. And I'm hoping you come away from this conversation with some knowledge and some information, because as this says, knowledge is power. So if you don't know, you can't make choices. And I'm here to help you with that today. And after the session, you have my contacts. You can message me, inbox me, text me, um, check me on the website, make an appointment, and we can have a one-on-one.
Yes.
So thank you, Latoya, for having me today.
It's my pleasure. I mean, just a little bit of get to know, guys. Dawn was, when I wrote my first book, Dawn was the first person to get me my first media exposure. So that's how much she really cares about everyone and our community. So I'm so grateful to you, Dawn, for giving me
You did the hard work.
my
You
first
deserved
media
it.
exposure. I was so excited. I was featured in the community contact all because of her, and I'm so grateful to you. So today we put together this, this live discussion on life insurance, why it's important. And so help us. What is life insurance? If for those who don't know.
Life insurance is basically you're protecting your life for any future unseen event. It doesn't have to be because you die. You know, people
Mm-hmm.
always equate insurance with death. But insurance can serve many purposes. It can serve as a liability, as disability. It can serve as a savings. It can serve as a mortgage insurance, and and for your life benefits, death benefits. If anything were to happen to you, your children doesn't have to run around trying to figure out how are they going to give you a befitting burial. Things are in place, and we don't need to wait till we're in our late stage of life to start looking into this, because the earlier you look into it, the better choices you can make, because it will be of a better cost and you're in better health.
Mm-hmm.
So I just want everybody to know that you go outside, you don't drive your car unless you're insured.
Hmm.
You cannot have a house unless it's insured. So why isn't your life just as important? Because if
Exactly.
you're gone, what's going to happen to the car? It's going to still be here. How much your family is going to be able to trade that in? Right now, funeral cost is anywhere from 20,000 and up. And that's for
We
the
know that.
bare minimum.
We know that right now.
That's
Exactly.
for the bare minimum. Cremation is hitting close to 10,000. So you really, really need to start thinking. Yes, we know we will die. We know we will die. But do we know when? We could get up tomorrow, across the street, we got hit by a car. We don't always die from an illness. Sometimes we can go to bed and don't wake up. We don't know. You just need to be prepared for any life event, especially if you have children. If you do not have protection and something happens to you, that's a burden on your family, on your
Mm-hmm.
children. They have to figure out a way, how are we going to give mom a befitting burial? Where are we going to find that money? Now they got to go to a bank, try and get a loan. Some people go and go fund me, which I really hate, because it gets so impersonal, and it's a personal issue that should be dealt with your family. And I know it's a taboo topic. People don't like to talk about death, but
Yeah.
it's our presence. We have to
Yeah.
discuss it. What would
It's
you like?
pretty
You know?
yeah. It's pretty human, I guess, to try to avoid negative things
Yes.
and bad things. But
Mm-hmm.
like as you're saying, like time and time again, we see if we really care about our loved ones, if we really want to protect them and take care of them in our absence, this is something that we must do. And I really love like when you were talking about like what the definition of life insurance is. I think like a lot of times we just understand, okay, this is the money for when I die, and it's not money for me, but it's money for
Exactly.
my children. So I
Mm-hmm.
think just that
Mm-hmm.
idea makes, I don't want to leave nothing for them and it's
Mm-hmm.
all about them. But you
Mm-hmm.
just mentioned that life insurance actually can be used before you die. Can you
Yes.
just highlight a little bit more of what that means?
Yes, we have three options that you can choose from. We have the term, which is really for time. You pay for 10 years, 20 years, or 30 years. And every time you have to renew it.
Hmm.
And every time you renew it, it becomes more expensive because now you're older. What if you have health problems? It's going to take an effect on the amount you will get and the amount you will have to pay. Then you have universal, which is a permanent insurance that you have until age 100, and you pay into it for 20 years, maybe 25 max.
Mhm.
And within that policy, it has a saving component. And that money you can use, they call it cash value. You can use at any time that you want, and it's taxed. It's not taxed. It's not taxed. It's your money.
Wow.
So if you start at age, what, say 20, and you want to buy a house by age 40, say, and you're putting maybe 200, say your insurance is maybe $50, but you can put more. The difference goes into an investment. So when you look at the projection for like 15, 20, in 20, 15, 20 years, you might want to buy a house if you're age 20. By the time you're ready, you'll have a good sizable down payment, whether it's $10,000, $15,000. It depends on how much you're willing to put in. Because the insurance policy also comes with the investment component, which also has an interest rate. Your bank interest rate is 1% or less. With an insurance company, it's 6% and more. So where would you want to invest your money?
Wow.
It's and you don't have to pay tax on it whenever you take it out. It's almost like a TSFA.
Wow. I don't
you
think they've
know
ever really explained it, life insurance to be an investment. When you talk
yes,
about it like that,
yes,
you see it as
because
an
you
investment.
you
Wow.
pay 20 years. Say you pay $13,000 in 20 years. By the time that 20 years is done, you already regroup that 13,000 in the investment portion plus the
Mm,
interest rate.
mhm,
So if you're saving, say your insurance is $40 and you decide you want to put 100, by the time 20 years rolls around, you that $60 difference times 20 years times 6.5%. Do the math.
mhm.
You're close to 20 or more $1,000.
Wow.
you know and they have a investment profile that they will figure out if your investment risk is high, medium,
Mm,
or very low, and they will base your income on that. They do something called financial analysis. So
mhm.
we'll sit down and talk about how much money you think you can put aside per month. And based on that, then we'll know what your risks are and what are the bills or liabilities you might have, so that you're comfortable with what you can afford, because we don't want anybody to be really trying to squeeze this money and they really can't, because life still goes on.
I'm
So
glad
that's
you
where
brought
the
that up.
term.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm,
glad you brought that up because I think when we also think about life insurance, we think that we'll have
of
to pay a
course.
big amount per month.
Yes.
But what I hear you're saying is that you can budget, basically work with
Very
someone in
much
the
so.
income and meet them where they are at and provide
Exactly.
a package.
Especially for the term insurance. That's the
Mm-hmm,
least expensive because it's
mm-hmm,
term. It's
mm-hmm,
10 years, 20 years, 30 years. For anyone under 20, you can get a term insurance for up to 100,000 for $11 a month.
What?
Yes, 11, 15, $18 a month term. So that is affordable. So if you take out a term for 10 years, before the 10 years, hopefully you're in a better financial situation. You can transfer that term now into a permanent.
Mm,
If you take it for 20 years, you have some time to give you time to settle yourself financially, that you can change it to a permanent, because you don't want to be paying your entire life. You
mm-hmm,
want a set period, which I think is best. But if somebody can't afford that, then let's do term. When the kids get to adulthood and are working, transfer ownership of that policy to that child.
mm-hmm.
Teach that child the importance of how much this policy means, and let them start paying for it.
Wow. So what you're saying is like get our kids into this early.
From age 15 days, you can
Mm-hmm.
insure your child.
15 days.
15 days. And the
Wow.
earlier, the better. There are no medical issues and they're young. You can get $100,000 for a 1-year-old child of 5 years and under for
Mm,
$60.
mm-hmm,
And it's $60 because we have something else called critical illness. Because most of the time you get sick before you die.
mm,
So this critical illness covers about 25 different conditions: strokes, diabetes, effects from diabetes. You might have disabilities. If you had lost an arm, a leg, an eye, whatever. We have something called critical illness. The minimum you can take is 25,000 in some companies. Some you can go 10,000, because
mm-hmm.
all insurance companies do not offer the same things. So based on what you want, I will know which carrier or which provider has the best solution for you. And I give you one or two options of two or three so you can see the
Right.
difference.
Mm-hmm,
So it's very important. If you can't afford $50 a month or
mm-hmm.
$30 a month, do $12, do $11, do $15. It's
Do
better than
something.
nothing at all. You can
Yes.
sleep well at night saying, you know what, if anything were to happen, because even though your kids are older, if they don't have an insurance, you're still their parent. You still have to bury them. Where are you going to get the money? Because I'm sure they're not saving for that. That's the least thing on their mind. So you as a parent, you can take on an insurance policy for a child. You could never turn it over to them if you don't want. It's up to you. But at least you know they have it. And you can tell them that they know they have it. And I want this to be like a generational continuation.
Yeah.
Because our parents didn't know much about that. They weren't really prepared. Our generation, we in our 50s, 60s, we didn't have much, education in it as well. So now that we know a little bit more, we can see that if a child have an insurance policy at age 5 or less, and it's 100,000, time he's 2022, it's paid for. If this child has a child at age 25 or 30, that child is a parent, is already protected. They have 100,000 plus the cash in component that is there. So all they have to focus now is insuring their children. So their children will have that policy when they are mature, and then they can move on and do the same.
Wow. When you speak of
So it's
these
like a
things,
generational wealth. Of
yes,
course, it's not a
exactly.
nice way to gain
Exactly. No,
money,
exactly. That's what I
but
was going to say. I was going to just say, wow, when you're talking about it in this way,
it's not
all
a
I
nice
see
way,
is,
but you're providing for future
yeah,
generations. We're trying to
generational
have
wealth.
some kind of monetary independence, that we are not always asking for loans. Because if you do an insurance with a cash component, that child has money when it's time for school, for higher education. You don't have to go to student loans. You don't have to take out a loan. RESP is very good. It's not bad, but you have to pay the maximum of 200 or 250 a month to actually get the government grant or bond to match. And if you don't, then they do 10% of 37,000. If you make less than 37,000, they do 20%. You make more than 37,000, it's 10%.
Yeah.
When I looked into this, I wanted to find out, more, because I have RSP for my kids, and it was such a waste of time. Now Maya is 18 this year. I mean, I wish I knew this. Even 5 years ago, it would have made a difference. I
Wow.
was getting
Knowledge is power.
0.7. I was getting 0.7%, not even 1%. And I was getting $5 from one grant and 10 from the other. What am I gonna do with that? That's not even bus pass. So all that money you've been investing just was there. It's just sitting there. It didn't grow. Nothing happened. You're still at the $6,000 or $8,000 or $9,000. But within an insurance policy, the interest rate is so high that the investment section will make up for that future
And
educational.
just let me ask just to say, so we've already been diving into the benefits of life insurance. So we talked about the term life insurance, which you say it's good for if you want to start off, if you don't
Yes.
have that much money, but
Yes.
also you have to keep in mind that when the term is over, they will reevaluate you. Meaning you may have to do a test and check your health level again, and then we both know age or your
Could be.
health state
Could be.
affects the cost of
Especially in
it.
our community, diabetes and blood pressure is a big, big factor.
Yeah. And
And
then the next one you talked about was permanent life
yes,
insurance. And
or
this one has
universal. They call it universal life as well.
universal, but
Yeah.
and this one you said has the option to cash
To save, yes, for
to
savings and
save
investment. Yes.
and
So
investment.
so
Yeah.
if you're paying $50 for the policy is really maybe 25 or 28, and the difference goes into the saving. So if
Yes.
you say to yourself, I could save 100 a month, why not?
Why
You put
not?
100, but the insurance is still 28 or $30. It's not based on that. Your
Exactly.
investment, and anytime you want to put extra cash into that investment, you can do that.
And then in addition, when you explain that one, the permanent life insurance option, you talked about the investment, the cash, etc. But you helping us understand that you could do more than after you've passed. You can buy a house, your kids can get education, you can
Yes.
have investments, anything else that can work. You said there was a third one.
Yeah, even if you're sick and you happen to be in a long-term facility and you need extra care, or you don't have enough money to cover that long term facility, they have a living benefit section, which is similar to the cash value. So you can use the cash value for other things, or you can use the living benefit for long term care.
Wow. That's a
So
lot. You
either
can do a
way,
lot.
if you're taking care of yourself. And if
Mm-hmm.
you were to have a terminal illness and the doctor say give you 6 months or 3 months, and
Mm-hmm.
you have that on writing and you send it to the insurance company, their insurance company, you can take a loan from your insurance. So if you have 50,000 and you think you want to live your last 6 months as comfortably as you can, and you
Mm-hmm.
need home care,
Wow.
you can take 20,000, 25,000 from that 50,000, just keeping in mind that you're just leaving enough
For the, yeah.
for your final arrangement, especially if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have family,
Mm-hmm.
so you can use some of that money to help make you comfortable, because as we say, when we pass, we don't really have the use of it is your family. So if you don't have a family, you just need enough for your burial, you can take, or if you have 100 or 200,000, you can still take 50,000 and your family will still be okay. But
Mm-hmm.
at least it can help you to be comfortable and get the support and the care that you need. Because a lot of people these days want home care. They don't want to go to these long-term facilities, which are
Mm-hmm.
really expensive and not even very good. So if you can do it for yourself at home and you can take care of your own because you will financially prepare yourself, even better.
Okay. I love that. Okay. So what about the third option? You said that
Your
there was
whole life. We have
the
whole life.
whole
Whole
life. Okay.
life, if you take whole life, it means exactly that. You are paying for your
Mm.
entire life. And unfortunately, that's what I took because I
Mm.
didn't know better. And
Oh.
it's going on 28 years since I have it. So I have to pay that until I die. If I try to change it now, I will not get what I have for what I am paying. Because one, my age.
Mm-hmm.
Two, I'm a cancer survivor.
Mm.
So tell me, who's
Mm-hmm.
gonna give you $100,000 or 200,000 or 50? Barely 50. And if they do give you 50, you're paying almost $200 for that. And good thing too about having an early insurance, your health as the parent affects your children policy, what they can get as well. Because my children are not allowed to be covered under the critical illness for cancer of the breast or ovarian, but they can be covered for any and everything else
Wait.
because they see this as a familial trait or
So
familial
you're saying
hereditary.
because of
Mhm.
your kids will
Yes.
not be able to get covered because of you had
In
cancer.
that For that category,
Wow.
if they want, if under the critical illness we have
Mm-hmm.
cancer coverage.
Mm-hmm.
But if you have your mother or father or sister or brother, they don't go back to great grandmother and great immediate. If one of your parent has any heart disease or any diabetes, history of high blood pressure, it goes against what you can get and for how much. And cancer especially, they will exempt that. You will not be covered. So if I had colon cancer, they will not be covered for that. I had
Because
breast cancer, which was part
mhm,
of estrogen, which is based ovarian wise because they
mhm.
produce estrogen. So they cannot be covered for cancer of the breast or ovarian.
Okay,
So it
I
makes a
just wanted to
difference.
I just wanted to double back just in case
Mhm.
if we lost people. So this what we're talking about is a part of the critical care option or part of a
Yes,
package. You can
yes,
get this with the permanent life insurance.
exactly. You
So
can get
only
it
that
together.
you
Hmm.
can only get that with the permanent life insurance option, right?
Yes.
And then you said the critical care package of that option
Actually, no, there's
covers.
one second. There's one insurance company that can give you the critical illness
Mhm.
with the permanent, and a critical illness can also stand alone. You
Oh
can
wow,
take it
okay.
by itself
And
as
then,
well.
okay, perfect. So then you're saying a part of that package, the critical
Mhm.
illness
Yes.
option, a part of
Hmm.
the permanent life insurance package,
Insurance.
you're
Yes.
covered for 25 illnesses that you
Yes.
may have.
Yes. Hmm.
But you're saying
Yes.
because you've had cancer, now your
Yes.
kids, if they wanted to get life insurance with the same company that you have,
Yes.
they
Hmm.
will not cover them for that because of
That
the heritage.
particularly. Yes. Because
Isn't that
yes.
interesting?
Very
Wow.
much so. And if you're a smoker, it
Hmm.
depends on if you smoke cigarettes or if you smoke marijuana. You have a better chance smoking marijuana and have a lower rate than if you smoke cigarette because I guess the nicotine is where it's at. So Who are smoking cigarettes quits. And one good thing about what I like about it, even though you are a smoker and you start off with a high premium, if you decide to quit, you call up the company and say, look, I've quit. I would like my premium to be reconsidered. I like a lower rating. And they will come and take your blood work. And if it shows that you have no nicotine in your system or whatever else it is that they're looking for, they can change your policy premium. And if the
Wow.
next week you decide to start smoking again, who cares? As long as when you took that policy, you were clean and you were healthy. If I never had cancer and I developed cancer now, they can't say, oh, we're not
Yeah.
covering you for that. No, it's already there.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot change it. It's permanent.
Yeah, but I think
You
what's
know?
really good too is just that I had no idea of this option that you can, get healthier, get better, and
Yes.
and it help your insurance to be less and be covered for more. That
Yes.
is amazing.
Yes.
So we covered.
If you're suffering from high blood pressure and you've
Mm-hmm,
got your pressure under control for a good year or so, and
mm-hmm,
there's no side effects from the blood pressure, doesn't have any circulatory, um, you know, com- repercussions,
mm-hmm,
then you can have it, you know, do overs. They can look into it and take your blood pressure again and follow up with your last doctor's appointment and see
mm-hmm.
if you're okay, and you can have a good insurance policy, permanent.
Okay. All right. Let's go to, so I think you covered a little bit of the price range for life
Mhm.
insurance when you were giving some of your examples. But like, let's say, for example, a 35-year-old man or woman,
Mhm.
what's the price range for an individual if they
If you,
would be for term or
if you're doing
permanent?
term, you're looking about $15 to $20 for a term
Hmm.
if you take 100,000.
As
But
a 35-year-old?
yes, you can get a
Wow.
100,000 for like
Hmm.
$15 because it's
Mm.
term, very affordable.
Okay.
When you get to whole life, it can go up to maybe $50, $60 because you're paying your entire life. But then you get to the permanent because it's a set amount of years, 20 to 25 years. And if you include the critical illness, that person might be paying about 75 bucks, 80 maximum. But
Hmm.
maybe 32 is actually the policy, and the
Hmm.
difference is being put into the investment section of the policy. So you're still really paying 32 bucks,
And how much,
$34.
about how much you're covered for around that price?
That would be 50,000 to 100,000.
So, guys,
50
the
to
example is like a
100,000 with
35-year-old
no health,
person,
yes,
no health
with no
issues.
health
Okay, good.
issues.
Just an
With no
example.
health issues.
Mhm.
50,000. If you do not take any critical illness, it could be $35 or $40. And with a critical illness, you still have a saving component with or without the critical illness. And critical illness is like an extra $4 a month. So it's really not much. And it's included in that $60. So it's not separate, you're paying for critical, separate, you're paying for that benefits. It's all together. But the younger, the better. And the healthier you are, the better. So start them young,
Mhm.
from their born. It should become, it's like secondary to us. It should become like second nature. Okay, I have to get her Medicare card. I have to get her this. I have to get her that. That should be on the list. We have a children hospital for a reason.
Mhm.
Children do get sick. Children do die. I had a son that passed at 6 months.
I'm sorry.
Thank God I was, set up with a rider, which I didn't even quite understand stood at the time, but I took a rider, and that rider helped me to bury my son. If not, I would have to go and borrow money from a bank, because you're thinking, oh, this person is really young. You're not thinking death. You're thinking maybe as a teenager might do risky things and might get into an accident or something. You're not thinking babies. So you think you have your whole life ahead of you, but anything could happen at any time, at any age. And that is what I'm trying to bring forth to people. It can happen at any time, at any age. And if
So
you're
this is
really
this
in a
is a perfect
financial,
time to
yes.
ask you what then you say it could happen at any time at any
Mhm.
age. So
Mhm.
like our last question for the day is what do you think prevents people from having life insurance? Because like you say, it could happen at any time. But what do you
Knowledge.
think has been knowledge?
Knowledge
Mhm.
is very, very important. And some people have been scammed That's another issue. I get it all. So trust is a big important thing. And then a lot of time when people hear insurance, as I said, they have this taboo in their head. Oh, I'm gonna die. She's gonna kill me if I buy insurance. No, it's
That
not
is so
about that.
true. Oh my
It's not
gosh.
about that, because insurance is not something you have to deal with every day or constantly be talking about. You just prepare it, put it down, and you leave it. You don't ever have to go back to it. You know it's there if something happens. So it's not as if it has to be a constant conversation. Have the conversation one time, make the preparation, and you're done.
Mhm. I
And
think I
another thing
like,
I
yeah.
wanted people to know too, any insurance policy that you take, they do ask you, but please make sure you have a beneficiary. Do not put estate. Please
Important.
use beneficiary. Do not put estate. It will be tied up for weeks or months or years if there isn't a name to it.
And please
And
let the beneficiary know that they are a
yes,
beneficiary and they
and
know your
please,
policy number. Yeah.
yes, and please put revocable, because if it's not revocable, if you and that person falls out and you want to change that policy, you have to inform that person that you are going to remove them, and that
Wow.
will be a fight.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. So just put revocable so you can change your mind at any time who you want to put in place. If anything were to happen to you,
I also wanted to,
having a will is very important
yeah,
as well.
listen, that's what I was just
Very.
going to ask you about
Have a
because,
will. And
I
some
was,
insurance company offer you will
mm-hmm,
preparation,
mm-hmm.
at a very low cost or no cost, depends on
I
how
love
much
that.
insurance you purchase.
Mm-hmm.
It's very important to have a will. Even with your RESP, as I say, I also do investments, RESP, LIRAs, TSFAs, anything that you take out that regard money, you must put a beneficiary. Do
Yeah.
not put estate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Always put somebody's name and put
Yeah.
revocable just in
Mm-hmm.
case.
I just wanted to say, again, like I talked about, like we were dealing with this recently because of the passing of a mother-in-law, and we saw how important. Well, this is why I pushed
Yes.
to have
Yes.
this again. We were in the works with this, but I pushed because I saw if we
Yep. A
didn't
lot
have
of
a
young
life
people
insurance,
in the
yeah,
last year, a lot of young people have passed on, a lot.
yeah,
And a lot of people were not prepared,
yeah, and I
you know.
also saw the importance of knowing the beneficiary and the beneficiary knowing that they are
They
the
were the
beneficiary and
beneficiary.
having
Yes.
access to the policy number because
Yes.
when everything went
Mhm.
down, we
Yes.
needed to find that
Find whom
documents
exactly,
and the
exactly.
will. Like we are in
Mhm.
the process of making sure that now that we have a property, making
Yes.
sure that our
Have
will is perfectly
you
together.
and your children.
But
Yes.
I wanted to also bring up something that we faced when we were dealing with our burial is that we saw that the life insurance money does not come right away. And so we
Mhm.
also wanted to make sure that everyone was educated on
Yes,
you
some companies does, not
mhm,
all.
not all.
Not
Hmm.
all. There are some companies, if you take, say, 100,000 or more, or maybe even less too. Okay, I
Hmm.
can always verify that. But I know if you're 100,000 or more, they have something within the company that they call Everest.
Okay.
And they will take care of all the funeral arrangements if you want them to. Sometimes they could negotiate. They're like concierge. They could negotiate with the funeral homes as to price, and within 48 hours, you have access to $20,000
Wow.
within 48 hours.
Hmm.
And once everything is done and the papers are sent in for the claim, you get
Hmm.
your money, in a matter of weeks. You
So
don't have
what
to
is
wait
this called?
months.
Because I found that like for us, we had access to that type of money, so we didn't
Mhm.
need that. But for
Right.
those who are not able to have access to 25, 30,000 grand
Mhm.
right away, this thing that you're saying is called an Everest.
It's called Everest, and it's a part of Ivari, which is
Mm-hmm.
a UL insurance company. They also sell
Mm-hmm.
term as well and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that. But they also have a section called Everest where you can have access to your money within 48 hours, at least 20,000, so you can get things going.
So
And
yeah.
you can have them intervene for you if you
Mm-hmm.
need somebody to call up the funeral home and make arrangements, for the removal of the body, from whether it's from the hospital to the morgue or to the funeral home itself. And they also deal with people if you fall sick, back home, international, and you,
Oh,
or if you want to go back, or you passed away when you were away and you want to come back, they do all that for you, so you don't
wow.
have to have that stress of worrying about that. So there
Mm-hmm.
are a lot of services. It all depends on what you need and what you want. Somebody provides it.
Mm-hmm.
You just got to know what you want. And I am here to clarify a lot of things that you cannot get, what the pros and the cons. I'm be very honest with you. I'm a mother, a grandmother. I make sure myself and my family, my immediate family, they're all okay. My extended family, my friends, I call up everybody. I said, make sure you have insurance protection. Check what you have. Because some people say, oh, I have it. Check what you have, because if you have term, it will expire. And health is something that's very unpredictable. You could be
Mm.
healthy this week and next week you're not. So, what does it say? Make haste when the sun shines.
Yeah.
Don't procrastinate. Don't put things off.
Yeah.
Don't do
Mm-hmm.
what you can today, tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
because we have no idea from one day to the next. And you just want to feel safe and know that you're okay. It's
Mm-hmm.
just a matter of peace of mind, I would say. It's
Mm-hmm.
peace of mind, knowing that anything happen, whether it's a disability or it's illness or it's death, you're ready.
Okay.
And
So
have
I
a
just
lockbox. Let
we're gonna
make
get
sure
ready
all
to close,
your
please.
papers are in that lockbox so the kids know where the keys are.
Yeah.
You have to have
I
the
love that.
conversation.
Yeah.
Do you want to be cremated? Do you want to be buried? You got to have that conversation. Once you have it, you put it down, you leave it. That's it.
Yeah, I know that I have a couple friends who talked about when their father or someone died from their family, that the next person she went and planned the funeral. She didn't want to, after seeing how it was to bury her husband, she didn't
Mhm.
want him to have to go through that. So she went and she planned her entire funeral. She had
Yes.
everything done so her children would not
Yes.
have to deal with all of that. But I
Yes.
think like important points that I want to reiterate, the important points that you talked about, making sure that your beneficiary knows that they're a beneficiary, making sure that it's revocable, that if, for
Yes.
example, something happens between you and your beneficiary, that you can change the
Can
person.
change it. Yes.
You're right. Making sure that you have a will, you have property or anything type of money, like you say, RSP investments, making sure they have a will that says who it all belongs to. And then one of the most important things that I didn't think about
Mhm.
is that if you have your papers, your documents, your policy number, wherever they are, someone needs to know where they are, because when you're not here,
Yes.
we'll be looking for forever.
Yes. Even my passports, our passports, everything is one place. And if I say, go get my passport or go get a birth certificate, they know exactly where
Where
to
to
go.
go.
If
Mm-hmm.
the house caught on fire, they know exactly where to go and get things to, you have to run out in an emergency. So and another thing I wanted to mention, some people don't, really believe in insurance and they prefer to save money. Make sure whether it's a checking account or a savings account, there is a beneficiary.
To
Because
that.
the day you die, no one can access your account. It will be fraud. It will be legal. You will be in jail. You must have a beneficiary. It should not be estate. Because no, you got to pay a lawyer to prove that you are the son, the daughter, the mother, the child, whatever.
Wow.
Sometimes some people may not have much, maybe 5,000. But if you're going to pay that for a lawyer, what's the point?
Hmm.
So that's why the government has a reserve of almost $1 billion of money that people haven't claimed because they just can't be bothered or there wasn't a beneficiary. So anything you're saving, whether it's in the bank or anywhere, put a beneficiary. Make sure you have a will so the day anything happened, that person can just walk into that bank with that piece of paper with their name on it and they get access to everything. Because that
Wow.
money will be tied up in the bank for anywhere from 3 months to a year or more, if however long it takes for them to prove, especially if it's a lot of money involved. So that's very important. We
Wow.
always
I
put a
thank you so
beneficiary.
much. We could really be here talking, because I feel like you're explaining things, and I have life insurance that I really didn't know. And the little things that's really important for us.
Yep,
So I thank you
very
so much,
important.
Dawn.
And thank you
Uh,
guys. And I
I
would
want
really like if I can have some people who might be at home not working, looking for a part-time job and just need something to do, because if we could really team up and try and reach as many people as we can within the community, I think
to,
we would be
yes.
doing a great service to help, financially educate people about different choices and options that they might have, questions that they might need answer, or even throw it out there for them because they may not even know that they need to know it. So contact me by Facebook or email or text, and I'm here to answer any questions that you may
Thank you
have.
so much.
But do something.
Do something.
Do you, as they would say.
Yes. So her email is right underneath here, guys. And if you want to book appointments with Dawn McNichols, here's her website. We'll have our website up right underneath the comments of this video everywhere on YouTube, on Facebook. And you can message her. She will explain everything. She's very patient, and she'll make sure to help you with all the rest of information that you need. We thank you so much, Dawn, and we're saying goodbye. Bye, everyone.
Thank you, guys. Have a good evening. Bye.
I'm winning every day because I found my way. Take back my life today. I'm a winning woman. I'm winning every day because I found my way. Take back my life today. It's me. I'm queen. I'm winning woman.